Hello! Welcome back to Good Book Reviews. I am Judith and you're watching another reading vlog here on the channel. We are on reading vlog number 21, I think. Yes, let's say 21. That's quite pleasing because I've just finished editing Animorphs 21. That's a nice meeting of numbers. Normally when I come back after a weekend, I get to tell you about all the things I finished over the weekend, but instead I'm going to give you a progress update. So last time I spoke, I just finished Animorphs 21, I just finished House of Always and So Such, and I just started The Wolf and the Woodsman by Reid, and I am, I think, about 75% of the way through that. I've not got too much left to go, a few chapters left. They're long chapters. Enjoying a lot of elements about it, I will say. I think it's a really interesting take on, I believe it's Hungarian, but I will put a correction if that is wrong, history in a fantasy context similar to Bear and the Nightingale, except that's Russia. It's really interesting reading Reid's perspective as a Jewish author and the exploration of the main character's half Jewish, half different pagan identity. I'm still not entirely sold on the romantic aspect of the story. Just, it's a little bit insta-love-y, which I talked about a bit last week. It's just fractionally so too much for me. What I do enjoy and what I wanted to talk about was the main character is 25, which I am very much enjoying, as I haven't read a character that's felt close to my age who wasn't a young man in quite a long time. So it's nice to read like a fairly my age character. I don't know, it's good. So from that element I really like it, and I think potentially I've been reading the character as too young, because my default is to, she's probably 18, but actually she's 25. Maybe this insta-love is less irritating if I read it that way. I don't know. So I'm excited to finish that hopefully today. I am also going to try and finish Assassin's Fate. There we go. I'm going to try and finish that. I have 3 hours and 50 minutes left in the audiobook at the speed I'm listening to, and I keep working on it and it's not quite going down, so I'm going to try and finish that this week. Hopefully. I'm really enjoying it now. Nervous to get to the end. I'm a little bit trepidatious to get there, but I think it's going to be a really good time, and some various storylines have just met up, and I'm really hoping that they don't go apart again, because this whole book has been me being like, oh good, something good has happened, okay, good, oh no, it's completely ruined again, oh no. That's my experience of the book as a whole, so we'll see how much more bad stuff we have to get through. But to be fair, 3 hours for Rob and Hobb is like 5 chapters, so we'll see how much more can happen in the progress of that book. On to other things I'm planning on reading this week. It is going to be an intense reading week. I am planning for it to be anyway, if I can get all of this done. I have 2 book club books that I want to get read. My copy of The Unbroken, which I ordered, arrived on Saturday. So this is for the Space Sirens book club. I'm excited to get to this. I've talked about this in my TBRs and stuff, so I'm not going to get into it now. And then I also have Wild Seed, which was for the Literature Science Alliance book club, that Angela runs, and this is very short. This is only like 300 pages or so. Yes. And Justine and I are buddy reading The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is about 250 pages, so we're going to try and do 50 pages a day. So I'm wondering, maybe I'll try and do a chunk of each of these every day so that I can like make some notes that I want to bring up in book club. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. I think I can do it. I'm going to try. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try. Well, I need to get on because I am about to speak in a meeting and I need to prepare for what I am actually going to say, and I shall speak to you next time I speak to you. Hello, it is Tuesday morning and I'm feeling very tired because I had an emotional evening yesterday because I finished Assassin's Fate and I cried for approximately the last hour, which was interesting. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I had a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions, and I'm still having them. It was very good. A very good book. I enjoyed it greatly. Excited to be kind of done with Rob and Hobb. I think there's the short stories, but I don't know if I'm going to pick those up anytime soon. I don't know whether I'm going to start doing Stormlight as my next like big audiobook project. Maybe. I don't know. So I finished that. That is one update. Very good. It's so emotional. And I finished The Wolf and the Woodsman yesterday, which comparatively is difficult because I've just talked about like this big epic conclusion to an enormous fantasy series, and now I'm talking about a standalone, I'm pretty sure it's a standalone kind of fantasy romance sort of thing. I liked a lot of things about it. I liked how it ended actually. I thought that was really interesting as a take, and I liked a lot of the real world elements that the book brought in alongside the magical. I think I didn't love the voice of the main character in the romance sections, and so I didn't buy the romance sections, and that takes up quite a lot of the book. I don't know, I think I'm going to try and do a dedicated review for it because it's out in June, so I've got a little bit of time, and I might even push that to afterwards because I'd quite like to get my thoughts together for that one. I shall hold off on saying anything too much, but like the setting is really good and the writing isn't bad. It just didn't gel with me totally. Then I have some updates on various things that I'm also reading. So far, my attempt to read a fifth of every book every day is going very well. I am 4 chapters into Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. This is the first Octavia Butler I've ever read, and it's really, really interesting. So we have these 2 immortal characters, and one of them is doing some shady stuff, I think is probably the safest way for me to describe it at this point because I don't know where this is going. Yeah, I really like it's sort of stripped back writing, but also hugely detailed. There's some sinister stuff happening and I'm really intrigued. I don't want to talk about too much yet because I want to get a little bit more into it before I make any kind of judgment calls, but I'm very much enjoying it. I am 111. I'm on chapter 10 of The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. This is more military fantasy was what I was assuming, but actually it's kind of been espionage-y so far, so that's interesting. Yeah, I really like the characters in this, which I'm very much enjoying. I had a moment, I think like I flicked between perspectives and something really cool happened, and then I was like, gosh, Orbit are publishing some very good stuff at the moment. They just are. I don't know why I didn't want to read this. Rebellions and so such. Excited to see how it all pans out. And I am just at the end of chapter 5 of The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is the Great Gatsby retelling, but from the perspective of the character Jordan, but also in a world where things are a little bit magical. There's a lot of ideas happening in it. I really love the writing. The writing's absolutely stunning, which I kind of knew it would be. I'd read the novellas Tiger That Came Down the Mountain and Emperors of Salt and Fortune. Read both of those, absolutely loved them. Knew the writing in this was going to be stunning. There's some really interesting stuff with alcohol being more of a literally demonic beverage, which is an interesting like addition to the prohibition stuff. I'm intrigued as to whether the magic is going to be integral to the book or if it's going to be a cool world building detail, because other than that it's fairly similar to the original. Obviously there's some quite major changes in some ways, but yeah, I don't know. I did have to look up the plot of The Great Gatsby though, because I'd completely forgotten who Jordan was. I'm going to be really fascinated to see which parts of the story the book picks up on, because at the moment we've got a lot of Daisy's backstory, which I think is really interesting. I'm gonna keep reading all 3 of those things now that I've got the 2 things from last week out of the way. I do have quite a lot left on my TBR for this month, so thoughts and prayers. Hello, happy Thursday, as ever. Wednesdays just don't happen for me. I pretend they don't exist. Hello, I have a couple of finished books actually, and a fabric delivery that has come in, which is very exciting, so I have a few things to update you on. Let's talk about finished books first. I finished Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. First ever Octavia Butler I ever read. I think I've already mentioned that this vlog. Really enjoyed it. Definitely quieter than a lot of the stuff I've been reading recently, which I think was part of why I enjoyed it so much. It was very different. Liked the main characters, both in a sense of the more villainous character was definitely a villain that I found really interesting, and not in a... I feel like sometimes a villain is interesting because they are attractive, and in this case I was like, no, you are just interesting as a concept and idea of a villain would be, and also the kind of antagonist to that character is also wonderful and fascinating and really strong. And I actually really enjoyed the, I don't know what you would call it, the afterword, yeah, by Sarah Y. Govan, who is the professor of English and the director of the McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Programme in the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Does a really good kind of commentary on the book, which I found really helpful in drawing together some of the themes. So yes, I would actually really recommend this. I think aspects of it are quite bleak, but, you know, not one to shy away from a bleak book. I also finished The Tangleroot Palace by, is it Marie Lu? No. Marjorie Lu? Possibly. Can't remember. ML is the initials that are in my head at the moment. This is a collection of short stories ending on a novella, but it's a pretty short novella. It's about 50 pages. Yeah, I thought this was a mixed bag, erring towards more good things that I enjoyed than things that I didn't. Much more enjoyed the fairy tale kind of stories to the more sci-fi element stories, which there are a couple in there, and I definitely leaned towards like give me more of these creepy trees and queer characters in fairy tale and things. But overall I actually really enjoyed it, and I thought it was well written, and it's made me want to revisit the monstrous comics, because I think potentially giving myself a bit more time to read them I would enjoy them, but that's a problem for future Judith. But yes, would recommend, actually. It was good. I am still working on The Chosen and the Beautiful. I think we are 150 or so pages into that, so a couple more days of reading left on that one. And both Justine and I are very much enjoying it. I think we're both really interested in the magical element to it and whether that's going to play a significant portion, but I have a lot of thoughts on it in general that I think I'm going to try and wrap up when it's done, because I don't want to make judgment calls too early on. I just want to kind of let that book happen. And then I've got 2 bookmarks in this, but I am 300 pages into The Unbroken, which is definitely surprising me as well in how much I'm enjoying it. I really like Toreen as a character. I really like Luca as a character as well. I just think it's a really interesting story, and it's giving me a lot of the like good fantasy vibes that I've been wanting of late, and I'm definitely getting them in this book, which is fantastic. I'm fully expecting it to be a bit like Mask of Mirrors, where I'm going to get to the end and be like, no, I need to wait for the next book, so we shall see how that goes. I've had fabric delivered, and I'm just going to show you a segment of it because it's currently hung up all over the place because it's drying, because you should always pre-wash your fabric. It's this gorgeous green kind of khaki, I'm just opening my door, it's this gorgeous green linen that I'm wondering if I can chroma key out. So that's the actual finished fabric. Oh, can I grab the thing? I'm going to put a picture of the pattern up that I'm going to make, and I'm going to be making this one, and I'm excited to do it. I need to work out how to do it, so I'm going to do a mock-up first. So that's going to be I think it's going to be a May and June sewing project because there's so much going on. I think if I try and do it in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to go mad, but every time I say that, I then do a sewing project over a weekend, so who's to say? So with all that said, I need to get on with the rest of my day, with the rest of my Thursday, and hopefully keep making progress on these things because oh my goodness, it is so windy outside. I need to get on with my day and potentially go and chase down some wheelie bins, I don't know. Hello, happy Friday. It is Friday. I finished The Unbroken yesterday and I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for book 2. It ends in like excited to hear what happened next, but also ended in a really nice way kind of ending, which I appreciated. I really liked the characters, I really liked the world. I am very interested in this. Yes, excited for Space Sirens to discuss. Then today I finished The Chosen and the Beautiful. Really enjoyed it, really loved the ending, enjoyed buddy reading it with Justine. Hi Justine, if you're watching this. Would be really interested, I don't think this person exists, but if you read it with absolutely zero no context whatsoever for The Great Gatsby, if you had absolutely no idea that existed, if you thought you just picked this up in the void one day, how would you read this? And I don't think it would I think it would be a really weird story and it wouldn't have the layers that it does. So if you have absolutely no idea what happens in The Great Gatsby in any way, shape or form, maybe read this and then let me know how it goes, but don't look up The Great Gatsby. I then made a little bit of a start on The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This looks enormous. It is about 500 and something pages, and I am 5 chapters in, 30 something pages of this done, and I'm also very much enjoying that, and I think it's going to be a nice jump from The Unbroken to The Jasmine Throne. Yeah, I'm here for it. I did make a start on the mock-up for the dress and I think it's going to fit fine, so I might get started on making that properly today/this weekend, depending on how long vlog editing takes and the weather. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that much more reading done today, but I don't know, so I'm going to leave it till tomorrow. Judith can check in with you on that one. I did buy a book. I'm going to look up what it was called because it had a long title. It is by Rashid Khalidi, I'm assuming. It could be Khalidi, I'm not sure where the stress is in that. And it's The 100 Years' War on Palestine, a history of settler colonial conquest and resistance. And this was what came up on a few of the reading lists about the situation in Palestine. Last week's vlog I said I wasn't feeling particularly educated on the subject, and I feel like it would be silly not to then educate myself. So I'm going to try and pick that up this weekend and maybe make a start on that. I think it's about 400 pages or so, 370, something like that. So it should be reasonably all right. But I'm interested to get into that and I want to give that the right brain space, so I might leave that till Sunday. But again, that's a future Judith question. So I'm going to sign off for today and I shall be back tomorrow morning with whatever I manage to do in the next 10 hours or so. Hello, happy Saturday. It is the final day of the vlog and I look like this because I've got a day of sewing ahead of me. I'm excited about it. I did do a little bit more reading of The Jasmine Throne yesterday. I am now at chapter 11, which is 110 pages in. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I thought it was going to be just split between 2 perspectives in the same way as The Unbroken was, but actually it's quite a lot of different perspectives. I haven't quite got a handle of whether it's just as many as there are stars in the sky or if it's a few, but it's reminding me a bit of Memory Called Empire in that sense, in that there's quite a lot of different perspectives going on. But no, I'm really liking it so far. I'm getting to the point where I think the kind of two big characters are about to meet. So that's going to be a good time, and hopefully I will do a bit more reading of that this weekend. Other than that, I didn't do much else yesterday. We're watching our way through Shadow and Bone. I don't have thoughts on it, if you're wondering. I'm watching it as television. And yeah, I've been cutting out a lot of sewing pattern pieces, and I've just got to do the underlining pieces today, and then I can start sewing it all together. So that's what I want to get on with. So I'm going to very quickly sign off the vlog so that I can get that all edited and uploaded and so such. Thank you so much for watching. I've had a really good reading week, actually. I was editing the vlog clips yesterday, and yeah, I've read a lot this week. So fingers crossed this energy can continue into the future weeks, especially into June, obviously. I need to film that TBR actually for Book a Day in June. I'll get to that. But next week, finishing Jasmine Throne, I've got For the Wolf I want to get to, and Blackwater Sister, and then maybe an Animorphs. That might be our goal for next week. I say my goal. What have you been up to? What have you been reading? I would love to know. Plonk that in the comments below. I genuinely do want to know. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. Follow me on all of my social media. That's all linked below. Come join us on Discord, and I will see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Hi, welcome back to Hello. Hey. Oh, I already hit record. Whoops. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm fully expecting it to be a bit like Mask of Mirrors, where